Mr. Mazon, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me.
The Philippine Stock Exchange and Bank of China signed an MOU on July 6 to provide financial services in support of bilateral trade and investment through capital market linkages between the Philippines and China. You said this collaboration can potentially fast-track the Stock Connect initiatives between PSE and 3 stock exchanges in China. This is actually our first time to hear about the Stock Connect between the Philippines and China. So how did you come up with this idea? And where is the progress now?
Actually, before the MOU that we signed with Bank of China, we had already been talking to the Shenzhen Stock Exchange prior to the pandemic. And one of the goals at that time, eventual goals, was to have a PSE Shenzhen Connect. But when the pandemic came, I guess plans got shelved. And fortunately, the Bank of China here in Manila has been very active in promoting trade between China and the Philippines. And this is one of the issues they focused on. So we are very happy that they're involved here, because hopefully this will fast track the project that we were discussing with Shenzhen. And now with the Bank of China MOU, it will not just be Shenzhen, it will also involve Shanghai and the Beijing stock exchanges.
What is the most difficult part in order to achieve Stock Connect?
The most difficult part are the different regulations. Just to give you an example, in the Philippines, for a company to be traded in the exchange, these companies must be listed with our Securities and Exchange Commission. They go through a registration statement of their company, their plans, their financials. Obviously, if we are going to be trading some China companies on the exchange, these companies are not going to register in the Philippines. Of course, the other regulatory aspect that we have to tackle is the question of, being a cross-border transaction. There will be some, I guess, foreign currency or foreign payments involved. So this will also have to be, I guess, resolved with our central bank authority, and so with the China, central bank authority. So it's not going to be a fast process. So if you ask me, how long do you think, or what's my timeline? I would hope we can spend the rest of the year, plus even half of next year, if not the whole of next year, to really iron out everything, all the details. And I would like to hope that come 2024, we have an active PSE Shanghai Connect, PSE Shenzhen Connect, and a PSE Beijing Connect.
Aside from Stock Connect, what other potential collaborations have you seen between the Philippines and China's capital market?
I am not ashamed to say that the stock exchanges in China are way ahead of us in terms of technology, in terms of trading volume, in terms of listed companies. So really, there's a lot to learn from the China exchanges. In fact, prior to the pandemic, we have been talking to Shenzhen, trying to examine which of their IT platforms can we use or adapt for the Philippines. So I'd like to be able to tap into that. We could have an index cooperation where we can promote the China exchanges index here, and the Philippine index would be promoted in the China exchanges. So these are the things, additional things we'd like to work with as far as this initiative is concerned.
How can Stock Connect and other collaborations benefit both countries' capital market?
Well, I think it will definitely benefit the Philippine market a lot. So opening the Philippine market to them, I hope will generate a lot of trading volume in the Philippine market from the Chinese investors. There is already a Shenzhen Hong Kong Connect. There is a Shanghai Hong Kong Connect. So we're trying to see what kind of volumes, are involved there. Of course, we don't expect to have the same volume as Hong Kong would have, but it will give us an indication of how much, of the appetite of Chinese investors to invest in foreign markets. That's something we'll be working on.
PSE has permanently shut its trading floor from June 27th, making it the last exchange to close trading floors in ASEAN. How is the market doing now with electronic channels?
I'd like to correct any misimpression that people might have that finally the Philippine market can now trade, virtually or digitally outside of a trading floor. That is not true. We could trade digitally a long time ago. In fact, when we transferred to this new building or new office tower in 2018, the idea was not to have a trading floor anymore. But a lot of the brokers still wanted that old, environment of working with each other. So they were able to convince our board to have even a small trading floor to retain the tradition. So in fact, when we built the trading floor, out of 125 brokers that we had, only about 85 opted to have trading in the trading floor because they could do this already in their offices or even in their homes. So it's nothing new. I mean, we closed the trading floor because we felt at this point in time, it was really, not feasible anymore to be maintaining the expenses in connection with the trading floor.
PSE had 8 IPOs in the first half of this year, which is the same number of IPOs for the entire 2021. You expect a 26-year high in terms of the number of IPOs. I know you have amended the listing rules, so what specific changes have you made? Are they beneficial to the long-term development to Philippines capital market?
We've eased the listing rules for SMEs, for the small, medium, and emerging companies. We have two boards. We call the main board and the SME board. The SME board was established way back in 2001. From 2001 up to December 31, 2021, or 20 years, we've only had 9 SMEs that listed on the SME board. So we really had the project to see how can we make it easier for the Philippine SMEs to list in the exchange. So we underwent this revision of our listing rules, and basically this was approved sometime in March of 2021 by our regulators. We had 9 SME listings from 2001 to 2021. For 2022, for the first 6 months, we've already had 3, SME listings. So what did we do? So basically, we said, like I said, we made the rules, I guess, more liberal, easier for companies to be able to list in the exchange. Primarily, number one, before an SME or a company had to be operating for at least 3 years before they could apply for listing. We reduced this to 2 years. Before, they had to have a profit track record for 3 years. Now, even if you don't have a profit track record, in other words, if the company is not profitable, they can still apply for listing if the volume of their sales reach a certain amount and it grows by 20% each year. So even without a profit, you can apply for listing. And if that is not enough yet, we came up with what we call the sponsor model for listing, meaning you don't have a profit track record, you don't have growth in sales of 20% a year the last 2 years, but you have a very promising business, then find a sponsor who will study your company, who can sponsor you for listing in the exchange. So we are hoping that this will spur more listings at the SME. The SME listings does not generate a lot of, I guess, revenue for the exchange. But for us, it's very important because it's, as you know, it's the SMEs that generate employment and a lot of, economic activity in the country. Unfortunately, the SMEs have very difficult access to the credit market. So we're opening up the equities market for them.
As the president and CEO of PSE, what are your working goals?
My primary working goal is to make sure that the PSE keeps pace with our peer exchanges. We cannot be left behind. I mean, in terms of development and new products, increase liquidity in the market to attract more foreign investors, offer more products, more companies, more listed companies, and maybe offer more products like we don't have any derivatives. So that's something we have to look into. So I guess that would be my work goal in the next 3 to 5 years, is make sure our market is, continues to remain robust and active.